CNN News.
So, as I said earlier, this is kind of a continuation from your segment last week where you talk about what you talked about. You didn't talk about this firm in particular, correct? Or
I think touched
kind
on
of
it.
hinted at it.
Yeah, the camp story had a bit of it, I think.
Right. And funny enough, or not funny enough, I tried to do some research into this firm that is allegedly trying to hire prominent Christian figures in media, such as these two guys right here, Chris Pratt and Steph Curry, to spread their hasbara towards Israel. Couldn't find a damn thing about this firm at all. So probably not by coincidence. That being said, I am going to read. I'm actually going to read two articles that I kind of Frankensteined together. Just to give you guys a little bit of a heads up, especially if you're a churchgoer, this might be something you might want to be aware of, especially if you are supporting the Palestinian cause, that your church may essentially be targeted / marketed towards promoting pro-Israel propaganda. So it seems like it's only happening on the western side of the country.
Yeah.
But that's not to say it can happen on the east or anywhere else in the country either. So this article, actually, let me pull the slides.
Yeah.
This article is written by Nick Cleveland-Stout for Responsible Statecraft. Kind of a new guy that we're kind of learning about, but he's been talking about this a lot based on what I've seen on his Twitter. So that's kind of his hyper focus right now. But he writes, Israel wants to hire Chris Pratt and Steph Curry. The Jewish state is seeking to target Christian evangelical churches for support, using celebrities in an anti-Palestinian message in a new $3.2 million effort. So, Nick, come on. Why isn't this working?
It was. Go back one. Come on. I think that's the right one, right?
Yeah, on my screen, my internet is
having fun.
Silly. Yeah. Hold on one sec. I got it.
There you go.
All right. A newly created firm called Show Faith by Works is carrying out a $3.2 million outreach and digital targeting campaign to Christian churches in the Western United States on behalf of the Israeli government. The firm's goal, as described in its filing under the Foreign Agents Registration Act, is to increase positive associations with the nation of Israel while linking the Palestinian population with extremist factors. Show Faith by Works will carry out the campaign through December for its work, which includes targeting churchgoers with pro-Israel ads, geofencing major churches, hiring celebrity spokespeople, and visiting churches and colleges with a mobile trailer called the October 7th Experience on behalf of the government of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. In one slide of the proposed plan, the firm listed a number of potential Christian celebrity spokespeople for Israel, including actors Jon Voight and Chris Pratt, former NFL player Tim Tebow, and NBA player Steph Curry, and a number of megachurch pastors. According to the document, the athletes and celebrities will be expected to deliver pro-Israel messaging. In response to a question whether Jon Voight has been offered to work as a spokesperson for Israel, Siri Garber, a public relations executive who represents the actor, explained in an email that she was unaware of any offer. Not that I know of, but it's about time they start trying to combat the pro-Pali propaganda. Propaganda machine. They should choose some who are appealing to the Gen Alpha and millennials. Ooh. Come on.
Yeah, your internet's just got to catch up.
Yeah. Give them the Gen Alphas and Millennials, etc. There we go. No, you can zoom out. You can zoom out. As that is where all misinformation lies, wrote Garber in an email. In response to a follow-up question about whether Voight would consider such a request, Garber responded, "No idea."
I mean, you could have said no.
Chad Snitchinger, I guess that's how
Right.
you say his name, who is leading the contract for Shell Faith by Works, told RS in an email that as of now, none of the celebrities mentioned in the slide deck had been contacted. This was an early planning document with a variety of options that were discussed, but nothing set in stone, he said. We're very proud of the way the project has grown since those early planning sessions, and we're eager to show it to the world once we get more details and materials in place, he added. Snitchinger's firm also proposed a 10/7 experience mobile trailer that will tour Christian colleges, churches, and events highlighting the atrocities of October 7, 2023. The trailer will feature a wall-length mounted TV with updated information, pro-Israel media, and footage of the IDF explaining the difficulty of fighting bad guys in hostile territory with civilians.
And keep in mind, last week, they also mentioned VR experience, like virtual reality October 7th experience. So that can only go well, right? You know?
Right. So like video gamingizing.
Yeah. You got to save Gal Gadot from the paragliders. That's what I'm thinking. You know, in my video game brain, you know? So
Show Faith by Works goal is to reach some 3.8 million churchgoers. Of those, the firm estimates getting around 5 to 10% to agree to our program or attend our events or sign a pledge card. So as I said, I'm going to Frankenstein this. So I'm going to insert this article from Rift, where they continue. The firm's state mission is to combat low American evangelical Christian approval of the nation of Israel, to use biblical arguments to highlight the importance of Israel and the Jewish people to Christians, to educate Christians on the historical importance of Israel and its significance in the region. The document also states it would geofence the actual boundaries of every major church in California, Arizona, Nevada, and Colorado, and all Christian colleges during worship time, track attendees, and continue to target with ads. The document plans to use mobile setups, deploy and pay social media influencers, create pastoral resource packages, and even use Christmas messaging to include Israel protects Christians like no other nation in the Middle East, and Israel is the birthplace of Jesus. So I decided to have a little fun with this. Like in response to Israel protects Christians like no other nation in the Middle East. So just for shits and giggles. Oh, before that.
Jesus is the bread.
So I guess this is the slide from their planning.
Right.
So they state December for the Christian church is entirely about Christmas. Suggested targeting messaging changes for digital mega churches in December. And so I read that Israel protects Christians like no other nation. Israel is the birthplace of Jesus. Come see Bethlehem for yourself. So had a little fun. So I decided to check on different articles related to the bombings that Israel has done at Christian churches. And these were all within the last 2 years.
Got the AP, you got fucking Middle East, like even the Vatican is like churches condemn airstrike on Orthodox. Yeah, of course. Like Independent, how a sniper's bullet utterly shattered the last vestiges of a sanctuary in Gaza's only Catholic church. Gaza father grieves for children killed in Israel airstrike. 8 dead in airstrike that hit church in Lebanon. Only Christian valued democracy in the Middle East, though, right? You know?
Right. Well, I think in that quote, I think the implication is Western Christians, not Christians living.
We know that's not the case
in the
either.
Middle East.
They be spitting on fools. They be fucking straight up fist fighting pastors and shit. Like, we've seen the videos.
Speaking of spitting,
which I sent you last night. I sent you 8 different instances of this. You know,
right?
Like,
so this is probably the one that I was aware of because I thought how ridiculous this was. I don't think I timed this, but we're only going to play for the first minute or 2.
Minute or so anyway.
So this is Officer Tatum, a mouthpiece for the right. I think he was a cop or former cop or whatever.
For sure.
So apparently he did Israel trip. So here he is interviewing Bibi.
That's in Yahoo.
And he was basically saying some mess in terms only one pastor. This was the clip that went viral. Only one pastor actually got spit at while he was there. So play for at least the first couple of minutes of this, maybe less.
Yeah. We had an incredible time. We had only one incident where a small child spit on one of the pastors.
This clip was hilarious to me. I think Chris Menahan posted it on Twitter, and Brandon Tatum explains how great his trip to Israel was because he said only one young child spit on the pastor he was with, and an adult came by to tell him, don't spit on Christians. So, I mean, I guess that's just a successful trip in Israel. I mean, only one kid spit on us. That's pretty cool, I guess.
And in Israel, if you actually talk to the majority of Christians, talk to them, you'll see what they say. They say Israel is the only place where we're respected and protected.
And I can attest to that as a Christian who went to Israel. I spent 2 weeks there with the church, and we had an incredible time. We had only one incident where a small child spit on one of the pastors, and immediately after there was an adult that came by and said, that's not a representation of who we are. We love you guys. You guys are always welcome here. And I have to say, no adults gave us any grief. We had no issues whatsoever in our experience there. It was actually an amazing experience.
That's amazing, dude. Only one child spit on you for being
fucking.
That's enough.
That's
right.
Enough.
So
fucking
stooges. Right. So that wasn't representative.
Which,
yeah, sure.
Like I said, I sent you 8 different 9 different instances, rapid fire, of Christians being spit on, harassed, and abused. Bing, 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 bing. Fucking just search on Twitter, Israel spits Christian. You'll get fucking pages of instances. Pretty apparent how they feel about the goys. I'm just here to tell you. They don't give a fuck,
Right.
So
anyway, let's continue. Let's head back into the article. So this is continuing from Rift. Melissa O'Connor, a citizen journalist based out of San Diego, has been investigating these documents and warning people that they are becoming a product as a church member of a foreign nation. She is working to expose registered names working on behalf of the Israel Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which includes member of the LA GOP and National Republican Congressional Committee. It's sad to see the American Christian Church, specifically evangelicals, either being complacent or willing to be a product of a foreign nation. My hope is that the church today can see how they are being used to further an agenda that's not self-serving to Americans nor Christians worldwide. O'Connor also shares concerns over biblical texts like Genesis 12, chapter 12, verse 3, being misrepresented to exploit the American Christian Church as faithful supporters of a foreign nation. Would you feel comfortable attending a church that was accepting money to push a political narrative in support of a foreign nation? Well, I would argue that certain churches also take money from politicians as well, and they seem to be very comfortable with that. So this would not be too off the track of what certain churches would be willing to do. because of, I think, the very superficial idea that Israel obviously is the birthplace of Jesus, so it's very special, in terms of Christian faith. So by proxy, we need to support whatever Israel is doing, regardless of how heinous it looks to everybody else. Any thoughts?
No, I mean, like, I'm not surprised. That's my thoughts, Like, of course
Right.
they're doing this. Easy way to manipulate people is through the church. So,
Yeah. But you know what? I was thinking about this. Funny enough, I had been thinking about this for a while, especially like the idea of pulling someone like Tim Tebow, who, given what I've seen, what?
Fuck that guy. As a Florida
How
State, dude, I'm right near Florida State. Fuck Tim Tebow. Like, fucking Gator, fucking stupid, kneeling on the fucking stupid grat. Fuck you, Tim Tebow. You know what you did. You remember with your nonsense.
But you know what, though? Like, given what I have seen in him in social media and otherwise, he seems
he's got
non-problematic at all.
He's like, got a narrative that he keeps,
Right.
Most of us Floridians know better. You know?
Well, you know what? But at least for him, if what happened to him, like if what happened to Charlie Kirk happened to him, and Christians were like, oh, that I can understand more.
Yeah.
Like, now, granted, you can argue what Tim does may be seemingly performative, but that to me, based on, especially growing up in a church, is kind of aligned to what, if you're a Christian, of what you should aspire to be and do. So that would make sense. For Charlie Kirk, however, it was the idea of like him being a podcaster, him basically being paid to be a mouthpiece for the right, which Tim Tebow, to his credit, you don't hear him necessarily go into politics at all. He's just more the idea of like, all I see him do mostly is, I think, does commentary for like college football games.
He's had his moments.
And like,
for sure.
What do you mean?
But being political, like,
in what way?
He's dipped his toe in a few times. Mainly during like the college stuff, and like keep in mind, like his transition from college to pro was like during that like Obama to Trump, switch over, and like he was definitely used as a pawn in that. Like, luckily he did fucking dog shit in the NFL, so it didn't matter.
Right. But I think he also might realize him being used, so he kind of stepped away from it, whereas Charlie kind of embraced it. So I think Tebow definitely seems to care about his image in terms of within the faith, that he wants to be and talks about his missionary, or used to talk about his missionary work every once in a while. But yeah, fairly unproblematic. But the idea of him even like wanting, like the idea that he's being targeted to spread Christian propaganda. Now, again, to be fair, I can't imagine him doing, or any of the people that were listed that were doing. I mean, Indy was saying this last night, especially with someone like Steph Curry. It's like Steph Curry doesn't need the money. So, like any more money would be good. But I also feel like, given I think especially within the NBA especially, there would be a lot more criticism, especially for someone like Steph, given that many fans are more than likely pro-Palestinian, especially if they're younger. Yeah. So I'm sure, like for Steph Curry, it would be a little bit more problematic for him to side with Israel at this point. So, but as the article, as Nick kind of explained, it's just names that they're kind of throwing out there because they're prominent Christian names in Hollywood or within like entertainment. So just using them to kind of bridge that gap to try and spread a more positive message regarding Israel. But I highly doubt it's going to work in the way that they think it's going to. So, but we'll see. But regardless, this is just kind of a warning for anyone who does go to church and anyone who's seen this kind of bull. Just be careful, of how they might use what's happening to kind of spread a pro-Israel message. So yeah, just be wary of that, especially among your friends who might be churchgoers, who might be subjected to this possibly.
Yep. Makes sense to me. So, yeah, and just, tell them to leave. Go form their own churches. Go do that. Like old, what is it? What is that? What is the old? I forget when I was going to church, there was the classic, well, the perfect church is like the old church, like the early Christian church, where we all just hang out and eat dinner and somebody, outs another person and Romans show up and it's a good time,
Yeah. Talking about these stories is why we're demonetized. So if you want to support us, you guys know what to do. I hate saying this every week, but
I know.
Scan the QR code, go to the Ko-fi link, or if you're lazy and forgot, type in ! donate if you're in the YouTube chat live right now. And the link will pop up and you can donate any amount you can. We will appreciate any monies you give us. Obviously, we don't want people to go broke supporting us. We do this out of love for you all. That being said, if you want to support us the free way, it's a like and subscribe, and please share our clips or stream to help fight the suppression on YouTube. And make sure you leave a comment if you're watching in chat or if you're watching this as a clip after the fact. So tell us what you think about the idea that Israel is using the Christian church to spread its propaganda and possibly or potentially using prominent Christian figures in media in order to spread their message. So let us know what you think. If you are a Christian or churchgoer, have you seen any more pro-Israel stances within your church? Let us know in the chat or let us know in the comments and help us get to free K. We're getting there. I think hopefully we can get there by the end of the year.
Yeah. We're on track for that, I think.
It's like we're on track to do that possibly. And thank you guys for watching.